Today's subject will be adding seemingly random things into the game. You're seeing one of them now. It's called the Constructor or Construction Worker character. It's a third-person character, so we're going to talk about it in a minute. But this is the result of one of many projects altering Rust's legacy to do really cool things, and it's yet another example of people not posting how they did it or in a really complete way so that it can be reproduced. Now, I understand there's many reasons people do projects like this, and there's many reasons a person might decide not to share information. I don't know which ones are at play, but there's over 50 projects now where people did things that really expanded the game. It was really cool, and then they just sort of shut down the projects and disappear with the data, and people have to start over from the beginning again. So this is a request for comment, a request for information, and a commentary on the subject matter itself. And if I say anything that is possible to be taken the wrong way, please don't. So we'll start with my little text file first. Unity 3 came out in the year 2010, September 27th. And it came with a standard built-in prototype third-person controller utility that came with a cartoon-style character model asset. It was the Constructor or Construction Worker, construction_worker, and it had looping animations for that wrench smacking you saw, as well as for running, walking, etc. And by default, it would position you behind it. So when you were walking around, you could see your character moving around. Now, if you're not aware of it, in many game engines, you default with the third-person view, but you can switch it back between third and first person so that it's a universal tool for this. And there's also other reasons for this I'll bring up in a minute. Now, it's listed, the one you saw, under standard assets and either character controller or character controllers, as can be seen here. I'm not sure if it's a variation of it or it's a different version between the various versions of Unity, the game engine. But anyway, under that is either third-person controller and then construction_worker and or sources prototype character constructor as a prefab. Now, this is what I've gathered so far. The fact that there's at least two different things here could be because one of them is for the skin and one of them is for something else. You get the idea, right? There's also a wrench in it and that sort of thing. Again, don't know. But it's been in there since 2010 late. So we'll say 2011 forward. Okay? Next. There's a video on YouTube as of 2012, April 1st, that shows from the 2-minute and 20-second mark to the 6-minute and 30-second mark, showing it as the default insert item when you're doing a third-person character doing a brand new project. And then later on, you replace it. 2013, September 25th, we have a PDF file describing exactly how to do it, or trying to. And again, it shows that being used up to the limit where you're about to put in your new character, and then you alter the character you built so it'll fit. Mentions of this start in 2010, basically going into fall, and keep going till 2015 and beyond. Now we're going to be doing the video that frame set came from. And yes, it's an extract, and yes, I turned it into a GIF. There's also a video version I have, but that's not relevant right now. A YouTube channel with a very familiar name, freekill, in this case 148, has a video up that was put up the current year in May 11th. Rust Legacy was its name, and then it was named Rust Legacy Content shortly after the individual freekill and I had a conversation in the comment section. And it shows the Unity construction avatar character as its default skin. And it also shows it with other features. A utility is run on the screen called Cheater by Freekill and Dixon. So it's obviously the YouTuber who built that product seems to be the channel owner. And that's a message in the upper left-hand corner. It's not really relevant. But it also showed a chat command for a server-side plugin for spawnbundle that magically solves a bunch of problems I need to solve, and an unspawn function to remove things so that I could, if I wanted to, if I knew what I was doing, which obviously I don't, I could add things to a server. And according to our conversation, the prefabs put in persist for players even after the admin logs off. For some reason, by default, Rust Legacy, if you spawn something, will delete it when you leave as an admin. I'm not sure if that's a setting somewhere. I'd love to know. Again, this video is really a request for comment, request for information from Freekill and any other YouTuber out there that did a project. Just like all of them I do about the subject, I'm trying to find out how to do these things. And more importantly, if you go to all this trouble and do all this work and create these things, and I presume at this point the spawner might have been created by Freekill, if you don't let us have a copy of it and download it, it disappears. Because it always disappears. So anyway, spawnbundle, the utility, would allow you to spawn something. In this case, in the video, it uses the expression small apartment, which I'll get to in a minute, and it uses these 4 parameters. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it seems to spawn based on where you're looking, and it seems to spawn to ground level, which is intelligent. Most video games should do that. The default behavior for the only spawner I've ever found required that you get exactly the right dimensions down to the last digit, place the object, and it can place it anywhere but not relative to your location. I've seen other programs that can do similar things. I've experimented with them. It's quite useful. But the point is, I need to know the magic formula, the incantation that's not been included with the video. And I understand people who do this work, we stand on the backs of giants. Lots of people, and I mean 50 projects worth now so far, have come up with ways to do this, and then they just seem to leave it as a project for the uninitiated to figure out again. And if I ever figure this out, I'm going to put a video up on both of my channels telling you exactly how to do it so you don't have to work hard at this again. I asked this individual some questions under their video. I'm going to be talking about them in a minute. And YouTube chose to erase our conversation. That's what this video is about. What's the plugin's name? Where can I get the plugin? If spawnbundle adds a prefab relative to the admin's position, is it at all like a command line that I found somewhere else called Object.Instantiate that uses bundling load, game object, prefab path, new vector 3 for 3D vectors, which is your XY position in the world, and then quaternion Euler XYZ, those are rotation positions in degrees, which you can just leave all zeros. I'll give an example in a minute. As in, this is the logical path to the object being Object.Instantiated as a command, and then a position value and rotation value afterwards. And this is similar to what's posted at the cutting room floor, tcrf.net, notes, Rust Legacy, under how to simply and just use a command that you can script, a script, that word is going to come up, I'm going to talk about it in a minute, to do the same thing. So again, this was small apartment, and I found that in the prefab path. That's what I'm supposed to do in editor bundled text. Okay, so here's the command you're supposed to use. Object.Instantiate, bundling load, and then it uses the greater than and less than sign here, which YouTube will interpret as something to call you a spammer. And then you include prefab path. Then you put in this quote here, new vector 3, and this is the XYZ values. And here's the rotation values, all in one line. Really complicated, okay? Now, let's try that again. Object.Instantiate, bundling, load, I put in small apartment. And then to do it to where it'd be at the center of the map, I can't do it relative to my position, I would use this. The center of the map is actually 0 by 0, but it uses a number in the middle for y, and that's the altitude, and that's 787 units above 0. And then the Euler would just be all zeros because it just needs to be there to fill it in. Now, before anybody comments, I don't know how to use this command. I don't even know where to put it. I'm suspicious that I could put it into some sort of Java or Perl script or Python script. In Rust Legacy, the construction underscore worker and the wrench are listed under this pathway as far as files, standard assets, character controllers, sources, prototype character, all one word, constructor. Also, things that you might want to do. For instance, the C130, here's the path. And it's in the mesh Unity 3D file called mesh 000. Factory area 1 is in game object 000 Unity 3D and scenes Unity 3D. What would be examples of how to do this? Other examples which I'm going to be experimenting with are to invoke forcing these, basically these are models, like a soldier, or is it soldier T, because apparently there's two different versions with the same shape. Cargo for cargo plane, cargo P, or the compass with an underscore between them, because that puts a compass into the game and just drops it on the ground, I'm presuming. The reason I'm asking all this is I don't know how to do this, and everybody who knows how to do these things has a strong tendency of letting the files disappear and everybody has to start from scratch again. Or there's some secret storage place for it. Again, can we just have the data or instructions or information? Now, I'm going to point out a couple of things here that are pretty obvious. If someone puts in all this work, this is skilled labor, and maybe they don't want to give it away, Waptec. Okay, that's a perfectly good argument. I'm going to bring up another one, Doom. The video game Doom that was created by ID Software was not intended to be something you could alter and turn into the monster it became. Eventually, they embraced the fact that people reverse engineered their product and included people's game levels they weren't going to be able to edit because there was no editor. Unreal, the game engine, came with the editor, so you could do that. They knew that just letting the public have fun messing around under the hood was good. Doom didn't start with that presumption, and Doom, arguably, because of the hacking, became better. We're at the same crossroads here. This is an older video game, and being able to do things without altering the Unity code, but inserting things through commands, has made it to where it's lasted this long. We're coming on the Memorial Day for Unity, for Rust Legacy being canceled. We're still able to run it. Stop Killing Games isn't just based on people intentionally killing things, it's based on not abandoning things. This game could be easily expanded. Now I'm going to point out something. Some people, again, they do all the work, we stand on the shoulders of giants. Some people who create wonderful additions to this game seem to put in a lot of effort to make sure they seem almost jealous of it. Like they don't want anybody touching it without them getting credit. I give credit where credit's due every time. But if you want to have a legacy of being known for doing something cool, don't let it get erased. That's all I'm asking. Now I'm going to show some screenshots for the earliest images I could find. This was 2012, March 24th in a tutorial page. There's some archive links below in the description and on the screen showing the activity. And then we hear September 25th of 2012. Here's an example again of that little critter again. They would use them as a default for doing third-person view, so you'd almost always see it from behind. But thanks to this YouTuber, we see it from the front, because you can place this as an item apparently pretty easily. Again, here we are. And this one is for 2013. And it's buried inside of the files. Now, I don't need to have this come up specifically, but again, the person who posted the video had a utility they were using, freekill, that was called spawnbundle, and it would spawn from bundle sets, and you just basically put in the correct term, and all that person had to do was put in small apartment, and it spawned it. Okay, where's the plugin? What's its name? How do I find it? If you don't want to do that, okay, can we do something with this? I don't know if this person wrote this or not, but the point I'm making here is, if we don't spread the information out, your legacy and your work dies because no one has it. I can't tell you, I mean, it's 50 at least, how many projects have died because someone just stopped doing the experiments and all the files disappeared, and at no time did they release anything. The only exception has been Fogelrite server, where eventually, me being annoying basically, they gave me the ability to set up an account there, and I was able to go on and download some of it and actually putter around. I'm preparing to try to do a tutorial on how to do some of these things, including expanding their spawner and include, if possible, one of the soldiers and the cargo plane and random stuff, and maybe even this little critter. I don't know what I can do, but I can't start unless somebody not just gives me a hint, but gives me the files or an example, a proper one.